Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Warriors Orochi 3. Last time we recruited an S&M demon hunter and today Leroy Jenkins is charging off to Mount Dingjun. But unfortunately today I am forcing myself to go ahead and use Goemon and get it over with. On one of the larger maps in the game. I swear I do this to myself. Alongside him are our resident mysterious old man, so let's dive right in. So this mission pretty much takes place not long after what happened in Leroy's previous mission. Ryu Hayabusa and crew helped them wreck Kiyomori's shit and rescued several officers. Orochi, being the resident overpowered magic user, easily tracks down Kiyomori using his old man Fu, and we are after the bastard. I will admit I'm not really a fan of this mission, for reasons I'll get into in a bit, and of course this is one of the missions I have to do twice because of good old time shenanigans. Although the game really isn't lying when it says we are saving Kiyomori's remaining mind control victims, as there are no more for us to rescue. Some of you may be wondering where the hell the rest of the cast is, but that's a story for chapter 3. I swear Ma Chao keeps on reinforcing my nickname for him. All he needs to do is start screaming his name as he charges for the circle to be complete. And we have been given our first mission to rescue Joan of Arc. She does kind of stand out as the lone European among all the Japanese and Chinese characters. However, she is from a Tecmo Koei game called Bladestorm: The 100-Year War. I will give you 3 guesses on what period of history that is from. Also, I pretty much shown Goemon's best attack. His aerial square attack is a butt stomp combo that hits in a pretty decent area. The rest of his attacks are pretty slow and aren't worth the damage he does, in all honesty. While there are several characters I feel no shame in bashing and calling weak, that does not mean they are unusable. I'd say you can beat the game with pretty much any combination of characters, at least on normal. Once you hit chaos difficulty, some characters' faults really shine through and they become pretty unbearable to use. Normally by this point I'd be playing on at least hard difficulty, but that would be using a much smaller group of characters that I like playing as, like Zushu, Ryu, Jotai, etc. I've just been sticking on normal since I'm constantly swapping my team out for untrained characters. We are also reaching the main issue I have with this mission, a lot of going around in a circle. Climbing the 2 mountains in the area is pretty much going up in a big spiral. The first spiral doesn't really have much going on, so it's kind of boring. While the second spiral you can see in the bottom right is loaded with a ton of officers for us to kill. So the pacing of this mission is kind of off in my opinion. So, apparently, Jotai cutting through that guy's torso should keep them from harm. Yes, and looking at the footage closely, he is hitting him with the back of his sword, but that argument doesn't hold well with the fact that you can see the blade going completely through the poor guy. I'd be more appalled if the guy did manage to live through his cleaving. Don't even want to know how half a man would live in cruel despair after that. Also, insert your own Terminator joke for Kai Wenji's line there. Also, all those officers hanging out in the middle of the map are pretty much a non-issue. Ganetsugu and Leroy Jenkins will be handling them all with ease in a rather shocking showing of NPC competence. If I was playing as Leroy, handling that side would have been my main mission, but I'd probably just charge through all the officers quickly and make it back to the mountain in time for everyone to meet up with Joan of Arc. And like I said before, this is one of the Screw the Time Continuum missions, so we will be having to return here to save poor Magoichi from Goku. Magoichi was actually the main character I used back in the original Samurai Warriors game, which I am sure some fans would find as sacrilege because in all honesty his moveset kind of sucks. I just liked his character, and the fact that his English voice actor was Sanosuke Sagara in Rurouni Kenshin also helps son. Too bad he doesn't wield Sano's crazy Zanbato or have a friggin' god punch. Of course, Goku just runs off like a little bitch after getting Hayabusa'd. Also, getting down the mountain is a lot more fun than going up it, as we can just jump off a cliff and slide down. Too bad it isn't this easy in real life. I'd also like to go on a slight tangent, as I swear whenever I play a crossover game like this, it always feels like the villains get away way too much. Super Robot Wars and Namco x Capcom and its sequel Project Cross Zone did this too. Admittedly, those games have it worse since their bosses can be a real challenge to take down, and to have them just shrug off taking over 100,000 damage and act like we suck is a lot more disheartening than Goku dropping from a Musou attack and running away. Of course, there is also the fact that here 99% of the people we fight will be joining up with us at some point. But still, it would be nice if we had a few more major villains than Kiyomori and Goku. Speaking of which, has now popped his head up for us to hammer back down. Pretty much, he is the one controlling all the French soldiers, so we have to kick his ass to set them free. I also have a weird issue with Orochi's C4 attack here. Apparently it has a minimum range now, and if an enemy is too close, it doesn't hit. I guess I always had him at the proper range before, but for some reason this time I didn't. Guess you learn something new every day. I also kind of ignore Kotaro showing up to attack Ganetsugu in Leroy's rear, but that is honestly a non-issue, since like I said, they are oddly competent in this mission. Also, Xiahou Ba showed up and got captured by Orochi in about 3 seconds. This plot point about Joan of Arc being immune to the demon's mind control magic kinda bugs me. They bring it up here and it seems like something that could be very important, and yet it doesn't really get brought up again. I guess it's just a hand wave why she is the only French soldier not attacking us, but it feels like it could be something much more important, like a Chekhov's gun. Either way, it's time to show Goku where he can stick his power pole. And so, a ton of faceless peons have been freed from the demons who were using them as cannon fodder, for us to use as cannon fodder against the demons. Seriously, there are 0 named French officers in the field, so we only saved the generic foot soldiers. Which may seem kind of horrible of me to say, but in a game where you slaughter enemy soldiers by the hundreds, rescuing a bunch of minions kinda feels like a bump in the road than a huge accomplishment. Now the demons have sent out their trump card, the God of War, the mighty general of Shu, Guan Yu, who gets taken out in a couple of seconds. That is one issue Warriors Orochi 3 has compared to the rest of the series. The health capacity of pretty much everyone is really low, so it's kind of hard to build up tension about some of the more badass characters taking the field, since everyone dies quickly. This is kind of balanced out by the fact that we are pretty much made of paper and one good Musou attack will take us out. It just doesn't make for very interesting boss fights when it basically comes down to who can Musou the other first. I'm pretty sure that everyone who has played the Dynasty Warriors series can remember the first time they had to take on Lu Bu at the Battle of Hulao Gate. Dude is built like a tank and hits just as hard, and you either have to figure out how to avoid him or give him a death of 1,000 cuts. First time I managed to beat him was back in 3, and I pretty much had to level up my character quite a bit before he would even start flinching from my attacks. Guan Yu is pretty much the Shu equivalent of Lu Bu, albeit a bit weaker than him, but still the man is the god of war. Eat your heart out, Kratos. Not entirely sure where I'm going with this, but pretty much the boss fights in Warriors Orochi 3 are the weakest part of the game, and Lu Bu is the wrecker of everyone's shit. We have also found our final mind-controlled ally, Cao Ren. It sucks that he didn't get his trademark bladed buckler weapon back yet. He lost it in Dynasty Warriors 6 and has finally gotten it back in 8. Currently, he is wielding a flail, which turns into Gan Ning's primary weapon in 8. I swear some people need to pick a weapon and stick with it. Right here, I almost screwed the pooch and nearly get Musou'd. Luckily, Cao Ren's Musou is like a ranged grab and does a lot less damage if he doesn't get the full attack off on you. They also tried to do something a bit clever with the enemy officers here. Instead of just charging at us like they normally do, they try to get the jump on us. Literally, as they jump off the cliff to try and catch us off guard. Unfortunately, as I stated earlier, everyone is made of paper and glass, so the ambush kind of rings hollow. It's not like when we try and pull this kind of ambush, which causes everyone in the area to get stunned, so there really isn't much threat or damage coming our way from it. Either way, we only have one more enemy officer to cut our way through to get a Kiyomori Taira and end his pitiful attacks. Normally, Hognose also tries to get on the jump on us like the other guy did, but for some reason he decided to take the long way around this time, and I'm not sure why. Kiyomori also decides to play the irony card, accusing us of being annoying for attacking over and over. To that I say, people who live in glass houses should not throw stones, dumbass. And with that, the battle is over and it's time to reap the rewards. And the God of War, the Emperor of Wu, a pretty boy with a giant sword, an iron wall, and Joan of Arc have decided to join us. Well, with that plot thread tied up, we are off to rescue the hostages and possibly recruit Shu Tendoji. Before that, we have a few conversations to listen on, so let's quickly do that.
わしも一肌脱ぐか。ま、美人を放ってもおけんしな。
In other words, that's our Magoichi recruitment requirement. Now for Jahoba.
加工派殿、ご無事で何を。
よう、かくわい。そっちは相変わらず無事じゃないな。
失礼。お父上は加工園将軍はご一緒では。
いや、あの幼女が出て以来行方不明だ。父さんのことだから心配ないとは思うけどな。もっか捜索中ってやつだ。
In other words, check back in a little while and you will get Jaho Yuan's recruitment mission. Next time, I will actually be skipping doing Magoichi's recruitment for another side mission. Don't worry, we will rescue him later. Instead, we will be doing one of the special bond requirements missions to get my little brother's favorite character. I'm Rihanna Bahamut and I hope to see you all again there.